In this lesson, we'll learn to use overrides to quickly add some variation inside of our takes. So we've got this test take. Let me go ahead and rename this. So let's say that we want to create some variation in the color of the towels. Okay, it's a very simple change, but we don't really know what we want it to look like. So we're going to create some variation that way. So I'm just going to call this towel color for now. Okay, and so we need to figure out what attribute we're going to be changing between the main take and the towel color take. So that's going to be the color. It's probably going to be in the material for the towel. So let me open that up. Now you can see with that towel color take selected, all of the attributes in here are grayed out, meaning I can't click on anything and get it to change. Whereas if I go back to the main take, everything's going to be available. So what we need to do is decide which of these attributes we need to change, and then specifically tell Cinema 4D that we want to do so, and then choose the change that we want to make. So we want to change the color. So the first thing I'll do is right click on the color here, and we need to come down and add override. Okay, so we're overriding the color, and you can see over here, this material has been added to our override tree there. But inside of color, we need to figure out what we want to actually change. If we go back to the main take, the color is not actually being driven by this color swatch. Okay, it's actually coming from inside of the texture. So we need to dial down and kind of dig down into this texture in our new take. So we're going to come over here to texture, choose override, and then we need to come into the filter, and that filter will override that. Okay, and then color. And this is where we can change our color. So we've kind of progressively kind of dug down into those attributes. And you can see here how we've done that. Kind of coming down into our material. And so now we want to create some variation. So let's say, well, I don't know. I think maybe I want a green towel. So we'll come in and add an override. And you can see that green coming in over there. So I can decide, well, I want it to be maybe not quite so saturated, and maybe I want it to be maybe a little bit darker. Okay. You can see everything else is still grayed out. Only those attributes that we've explicitly told Cinema 4D that we want to override are created. So here we can double click on this, and I can call this towel green. If we were to render this, the green would show through. You can always go back to the main take where now the towels are white again. Okay. Now we can always come back in. If I don't want a green one, I could come in and let's say, okay, I'm going to do towel blue. And we can go through the same process. So create an override, and then now that all of these values inside of here are available, we can now override this one, go into the filter, override the texture, go into the color, and override that, and now set our color to blue. So now we have a blue choice, we have a green choice, and then we have the main white choice. Now, digging down through all of those attributes can sometimes be a little bit tedious. So in the next lesson, let's take a look at using auto take to speed up this process a little bit. So we'll take a look at that next.